this is Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, the scientific healer, and in today's episode of Raise Your Frequency, I am going to talk about how energy healing works and a little bit about the quantum field and how you can do your own self-healing. Yes, we all can do our own self-healing. And I seem to be getting this question a lot these days. People are reaching out to me from my website, scientifichealer.com, and going on to the contact page, asking me this question or making appointments with me, and I'm speaking with them. And even some of my longtime clients, they're curious because they have gotten such good results and they're wondering exactly how it works. And many people have experienced energy healing from other healers and from me, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And the question is why? Why doesn't it work? So I'm going to talk about basically 5 things in quick succession. The first is what conditions that people come to me for and what the origins of any of the conditions are. And why does it work sometimes and it doesn't other times? And what mistakes people make when working with an energy healer. And so there's like a little faulty thinking, and I'm going to address that here. And last, I'm going to talk about things that you can do for your own self-healing. So the first is what people come to me for. So it doesn't matter really. Some people come to me because their money is out of alignment and they seem to not be able to either keep it or make it. Other people come to me because their relationships are all haywire and they're very unhappy, and a lot of times they're getting very sick. And I work with their relationships. Other people come to me for things like diabetes or asthma or kidney disease or cancer. And some of them are autism, some of them are depression, some of them are coming out of having gone through chemotherapy and radiation, and they feel absolutely lousy and they don't have their mojo anymore. And some people come to me because they've just encountered somebody and they call up and they say, "What is that?" and find out that they feel terrible after encountering them. So, it's like this huge broad spectrum. So, the thing is that all illnesses, the origin of all illnesses, it's not from the inside out, it's actually from the outside in. So the first thing is your environment. What do you take in? What's going on around you? Who are the people around you? What's happening? How do you interpret that? A lot of things happen actually internally and mentally. And you're affected by the people, your society, your tribe, your religion. It depends on how you internalize these things. And so it's about 93% everything that's happening in your life right now and what's happened in the life that you started when you were born, this in other words, this life cycle. And about 7% is your DNA, what is the energy that you're bringing forward from your DNA and also from your past lives. And so that's the other. And it's also part of your belief system, right? And so now we're going to move into why healing works and why it doesn't. So healing is really a cooperative process. Like I don't just, I can't just work on my own. It's like when you go to a doctor, and what does a doctor do? The doctor checks you out and says you have A, B, or C. Let's say you're pre-diabetic. So they go to the doctor, you go to the doctor, and the doctor tells you you're pre-diabetic. He hands you a sheet and says, this is the diet you're supposed to follow. If you end up diabetic, like let's say it's type 2 diabetes, they'll start prescribing you metformin and they'll tell you to take this every day. And if you can't be helped by metformin, they'll put you on insulin shots. So you have to follow those instructions, right? And this is with anything. If you go to a coach to learn how to give a better talk, for example, they can talk until they're blue in the face, but until you actually implement something, nothing is ever going to change. You can buy all the shelf help, the stuff that you buy to give you instructions. Like you can buy one book after another, and you can even read the book, but if you don't follow the instructions, do what the book says, nothing's going to change. It's the same thing with an energy healer, right? So when people come to me, the first thing I do after they have their first session with me is I send them a list of instructions. And these are not just pie in the sky instructions. It's like every instruction in there, there's meaning behind it. So I ask you to forego alcohol for a while, because when you do brain healing, the alcohol will disrupt the brain healing. I'll ask you to listen to one of my either 11 or 14-minute audios. Listen to it at least 3 times a week, if not 5 times a week. And I can tell when we come back the following week whether they've listened to it or not. So these are the instructions I give them. So it's a cooperative process. It is not me just waving my magic wand, which I can do, but it's not me waving my magic wand and poof, you're all healed. And it depends on you. Are you going to participate in the healing or not? If you don't participate in the healing, all your cells in your body are going, oh, well, I guess you don't want me well, so I'm not going to help you out. So that's what happens. And so the thing is, you've got to take steps. The number 2 is sometimes when, healers come in all shapes, sizes, energy levels, and so on. There's a healer for everybody, and every healer can do healing. Right? So what'll happen is that have been working on yourself for a while, and your frequency or your energy level has started to climb, and you're doing really well, and you run into a healer who is talking a good story, and you're not quite sure whether they're going to work for you, and you work with them and nothing happens. That's because the frequency of the healer that you're working with at the moment is lower than you are. So it's like, trying to go through a brick wall. It's not going to work. There has to be some sort of connection. So that's number 2. That's to be careful, and you'll know who those healers are because you'll hear what they're saying, and you'll be able to understand where they're at, and are you at their level at least? Then you need to find somebody that's telling a higher story than where you're at. And the last thing is that people sometimes don't want to be well. They are going through the motions, like all their family is watching them. They've changed their diet, they've changed their exercise, they've done everything possible, and they'll tell everybody, see, I'm doing everything and nothing's working. The cancer isn't shrinking. My benign tumors aren't disappearing. I still have all my joints still hurt. Nothing is working. So those people, I've run across a number of them, and it's really interesting, but I can read into their energy, and I'll always ask before I actually engage with a client, I'll always ask, does their body want to be well? Do they want to be well? Do they want to survive? And sometimes the answer is no. And so what you can offer people like that as a healer, what you can offer people like that is to make them more comfortable. And that was the case with my mom. As much as I miss her dearly and as much as I loved her, I understood her plight, and all I did was be there, hug her, make her more comfortable, help ease her pain, and so on, and allow her to pass with dignity and not, plug her with a bunch of tubes and everything, which is something that neither of my parents want. And so as much as I miss her, as much as I miss being able to hug her, hear her voice, or interact with her at this level, I know how happy she is on the other side. And the first thing that she said to me is, look, I can do all this stuff that you can't do. I can stand up straight and I feel great again. And she said, I don't want you to mourn us. So, right? So sometimes people are willing to go because they feel like their time here is done and the body that they're in is trashed, and they don't want to go through the effort of helping get it well. So some of the mistakes that people make, now we're going to talk about the mistakes. So some of the mistakes that people make when they're working with a healer is that they think that I can wave a magic wand and all they have to do is have a healing session with me, and then they can go out and drink and party and eat till the cows come home, eat all the wrong things like pizza and hamburgers. And because I did this energy healing work on them, then it's going to make up for it. So it's just like the amount of exercise that you do, no matter how many hours on the treadmill or whatever, you can never out exercise a bad diet. And likewise, you can't out energy heal a bad diet or a bad behavior or destructive behavior. So like I said, when you go to a conventional doctor, they'll give you instructions and you are actually healing yourself. The doctor is just telling you what you have and what you need to do to get better, right? But now you have to do the work. So in energy healing, so when that happens, of course, you're telling your body, I don't care about you. I want to destroy you, but I'm going to this energy healer and giving it lip service that I'm going to help get you better. So these are some of the things that you'll encounter if you are a healer. And I always ask the question, who is healing the healers? I go to certain people. I get body work at least every other week. Body work is that's a massage. I get the kind of massage that works on the meridians and hits all of the acupuncture points, right? Goes through and does them all on the head and gives them a good massage to get them stimulated and going. And I also do stretching every day, and I do exercise every day, and I do my energy work every day, and I cut cords every day. So these are the things that give your body the signal that you want to be well and you want to be here. And just saying the words like, I'm grateful I am, is I'm here and I'm experiencing life and I'm having a great time at it. And even if you're in the worst misery, and believe me, I've been in some really miserable situations, they're only temporary, right? So how you can energy heal yourself. So here are some of the tips that I give all the time. The first thing is, when you get up in the morning, do a little energy routine. I have a little bar of selenite next to my bed to remind me to cut my cords when I get up, because like I'm the matriarch of a large family, and I have all of these clients that depend on me for healing. And when I sleep, even my husband and my daughter and my grandson, they'll glom onto me because I'm kind of, doing these things. It's like I also can glom onto them. And what I do is I cut all of my cords. So I just reach down and I cut cords, and I say to myself, cut the cords, and I imagine them all falling down down into the earth and going all the way deep, letting them all go. And I also reach from behind and I pull them forward, chop, chop, chop. So that's one thing that you could do. It takes about 10 seconds. It takes way more energy to remember to do it than it does to actually do it, right? And so I have to even have something there to remind me to do it, even though I've been doing it now for a very long time. The next thing, of course, once I cut the cords, it reminds me to stand up straight, pull my shoulders back, get myself aligned, and then breathe in. And as I breathe in, I use my belly muscles to breathe in very deeply and get myself centered again. So that getting myself centered again wakes me up, gets my brain, really moving a lot. And I'll go in the living room after I drink a big glass of water. I have to take thyroid pills still. I'm working on getting rid of that. When I do, I'll tell you how I did it. And then I go in and I do some stretching and movements to help stimulate all the meridians. And one of the things that I'll do regularly is centering. So I'll just show you how I do this. So it's front to back, side to side, and top to bottom, right? So front to back is you take the left two fingers, middle and ring finger, and you put them on the top of your lip, and you take the palm of your hand and you go to the back of your head and you take a couple of deep breaths. And you'll feel yourself click in. And when you start to sway a little, that's when it's done. And the next thing is you take your left thumb and you put it over your right earlobe, and then you take your right thumb and you put it over your left earlobe. Whenever you cross like this across your body, you are balancing your left and right brain, and that's really important. And you take a couple of slow breaths all the way down into your belly button. And then the last thing is right wrist over left and left ankle over right, and take a couple of deep breaths. And you'll feel yourself click in, and most people say they feel lighter, which means that everything is right with you. And so those are a couple of tips: cutting cords, taking some deep breaths, and centering, balancing. And then smiling and saying, I'm grateful I'm here. I'm grateful I am. I'm so happy. You can make all the lists of all the things that you've got, but the highest form of gratitude is being grateful that you're here walking the earth. And if you have any questions about this, I'm happy to answer. And I see that I've gotten some people watching and some people listening, and I'm always happy to answer your questions. So some of these tips, I go very deep. I have a couple of programs. One program is I'm opening up, teaching you how to take care of yourself, and also teaching you how to connect with your audience or connect with the people, whether you're in corporate and you're trying to move up the ladder, and that takes people skills, or whether you are a healer or a coach and you need to get more clients and bring them in with ease and grace. I'm happy to speak with you at scientifichealer.com/appointments. Thank you, Rose. And then for people who want to get a quick lesson, I'm doing a series of lessons this week live. I started this morning, every morning at 11 a.m. Pacific through the end of the week. It is a challenge to just help you to change your thinking and your negotiation. And that is at scientifichealer.com/success. You can click on the links and you can click on the links to connect with me below. I'm so happy to speak with you, and I thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button below and share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I post new videos every Tuesday. All right, have a great week.